I didn't notice the music stop. I noticed the way people inhale before they laugh, how it sounds like a single organism bracing itself. The band had slid into something upbeat, the kind of song meant to tell guests it was safe to stand up now, to loosen jackets and shoes. My husband was mid-sentence, smiling at a cousin I couldn't name, when the cold hit my shoulder. It wasn't dramatic at first. Champagne doesn't behave like water, it foams and clings, it pretends to be celebratory even when it's not. I felt it soak into the lace, the silk beneath, the careful tailoring that had taken 3 fittings because my mother kept saying, "We'll make it work." The glass shattered on the floor a second later. That was when my sister shouted, "Now you look expensive for once." The laugh came, not cruel, not kind. Just reflexive. Someone clapped. Someone else said, "Oh my God." The DJ hesitated, then turned the volume up, as if noise could cauterize the moment. My mother gasped. It was a practice sound, a pearl, clutch gasp that meant something had gone wrong, but not badly enough to require consequences. She crossed the small distance between us and put her arms around my sister. "Oh, honey," she said, loud enough to be heard. "You didn't mean it like that." I stood very still. I had learned stillness early, how to keep my face neutral, how to let heat drain from my voice. I knew that if I moved too quickly, I'd become the problem. Someone handed me napkins. Someone else joked about, "Good luck." I dabbed at my shoulder and smiled, because smiling is the fastest way to make other people comfortable. The night went on. There were toasts that mentioned me as an aside. There were photos where I angled my body so the stain wouldn't show, where my sister leaned in close, grinning too wide, as if we were sharing a private joke. My mother avoided my eyes with a person doing a difficult task. The band played louder. The room warmed. The stain dried into a dull map I didn't want to read. Later, in the hotel room, I unpinned my hair and watched the curl fall from its shape. The dress hung on the back of the bathroom door, heavier than it had been hours earlier. My husband asked if I was okay. I said yes. He believed me because I sounded like myself. When he slept, I sat on the edge of the bed with my phone. The family card lived in an app I hadn't opened in months. I had access because I was responsible. Because I was good with numbers. Because someone needed to be. It had never felt like power. It felt like work. It felt like being trusted with the mess so others could pretend it wasn't there. I thought about my sister's tuition bills, the way my mother talked about them as if they were weather. Inconvenient, no one's fault. I thought about birthdays where my gift came with a joke, about holidays where I was asked to cover a little extra. Just this once. I thought about the sound of that laugh. The login screen asked for my face. I stared at myself until it unlocked. There was a moment, brief and clear, where I understood that this would not make me feel better in the way people imagine revenge feels. It would not erase the stain or rewind the room. It would do one thing only: it would stop something. I froze the card. The app made a soft chime. I locked it. Another chime. There was no drama in it, no warning bells. Just a confirmation line and a timestamp. I slept after that. Not deeply, but enough. In the morning, my phone buzzed with a message meant for someone else. My sister had forwarded it without comment, the way she did when she wanted an audience. The subject line was plain. The body was colder. Payment declined. Enrollment withdrawn pending resolution. It wasn't angry. It wasn't personal. It was authority doing what authority does when a box goes unchecked. The call came an hour later. My mother's voice shook in a way that would have undone me once. "What happened?" she asked, as if the world had tipped and I might be able to write it by explaining. "I locked the card," I said. I didn't add anything to soften it. There was a pause. I could hear her breathing. "Why would you do that today?" she said, and the word today carried everything. My wedding, my sister's future, the inconvenience of timing. "I didn't do it today," I said. "I did it last night." Another pause. "She's in the middle of the semester." "I know." Silence stretched, uncomfortable and new. This is extreme," my mother said. She was joking. I was quiet. I said, "That wasn't a joke." My mother inhaled, then steadied herself. I could hear the shift, the way she reached for a tone she used with banks and offices, the tone that assumed cooperation. "We can fix this," she said. "We'll talk to them. You can unlock it. We don't need to make a big deal." "I'm not making a deal," I said. "I made a decision." She started to cry then, softly, like she hoped I wouldn't notice. "You're punishing her?" she said. "I'm stopping something." I said again, because it was true, because I had finally learned the difference. We ended the call without resolution. My sister texted later, furious, then pleading, then silent. My husband made coffee and didn't ask questions. The day unfolded like any other, except it wasn't. Messages came in from relatives who had heard a version of the story where I was unreasonable, where money had made me cold. I didn't correct them. Correction is another kind of labor. By afternoon, an administrator emailed me directly. Polite, procedural. They explained the steps required to reinstate enrollment, the deadlines, the fees. Authority had arrived not with a bang but with a form. It was unmistakable and indifferent. I forwarded the email to my mother. I didn't add a note. That night, I stood in the shower and watched the last of the champagne rinse away, the water turning briefly sweet before it disappeared down the drain. I thought about what would happen next. The card could be unlocked. The semester could be salvaged. Or it couldn't. None of it would return me to the person I'd been in that room, smiling with napkins pressed to my shoulder. There was no celebration in the quiet that followed. There was only a new shape to my silence, one that belonged to me.